CBC Evening News.
And a very good evening to you. I'm Lisa Lord with the CBC Evening News. And our top story. Prime Minister Frundell Stewart is again at the helm of the ruling Democratic Labour Party. He was re-elected unopposed as president during the party's 60th annual general conference. Also elected as vice presidents of the DLP were ministers John Boyce, Donville Innes, Richard Seeley and Senator Verla de Pisa. George Pilgrim has retained his office as the General Secretary. As part of the conference celebrations, Minister of Labour Dr. Esther Bayer sought to dispel the notion that the National Insurance Scheme is out of money. She says the fund has assets of over $5 billion and is running a surplus of over $18 million per annum. She went on to state that much of the concern had to do with the unemployment fund, which she says is under some strain. She, however, assures the public that the fund is continuing to meet its obligations.
In good years, you store up in your barns for the slow years. And so in the good years, they've been investing. There was a lot of money. And so when we see a dip during a recession such as this one, you're not too concerned. You know, you will hear concerns, oh, the money gone, and what's going to happen to my pensions when I get older. Now, as I hope I've made the distinction, your pension has nothing to do with the unemployment fund. And the unemployment fund is set up in such a way because we know that it will build up during good times, and we will draw on that during lean times.
Dr. Bayer also went on to address the issue of employers failing to submit the NIS payments of their employees. She says the government is working to correct this to ensure that the NIS operates at its full potential.
Too often, persons go to national insurance looking for their unemployment benefit, for example, and then they're told none was ever submitted for you. And you know that your money was being taken out of your pay pack every week. And when you get there, nothing is there. And in national insurance, people are only calling and trying to get this money or get the information, and they can't get it. Well, we've just approved at Cabinet the policy to inform the legislation so that they would have more teeth to go after that information from the employers so that the arrears can be collected.
Well, similar to how members of the Coast Guard and the police force had to undergo a vetting process, Barbados may have to do the same for all security officers at its ports of entry. This amid concerns of alleged corruption. Attorney General and Minister of Home Affairs Adriel Brathwaite says such a move will ensure the integrity of these workers is without question. Mr. Brathwaite says Barbados may have to work with its international partners to provide training, and additional scanners may be needed for the port. He also believes that in today's Barbados, there is no reason why cameras should not be installed at its ports of entry.
Absolutely no reason. And if it is that, in fact, that they're not in any part of our ports of entry, I will venture to suggest that whatever hindrance that there is, it needs to be removed, because it serves two purposes. One is that it obviously assists us in terms of being able to acquire footage that might assist us in terms of if there's a matter to be investigated. But as also can be seen via the famous Merryman matter, that in fact it can also protect the officers themselves.
Mr. Brathwaite, along with the Acting Police Commissioner, were guests on CBC TV8's News and Current Affairs program, The People's Business. He says that while Barbados has seen an increase in crime, the situation is not a runaway one. He says that if firearms are coming into the island, they can only do so by air or by sea. He says his ministry has been working alongside the postal services, as this entity could also be used to move illegal firearms.
We were concerned that weapons could have been coming in pieces. And therefore, we did some training so that the post office officials are able to identify the different parts of the firearms. Obviously, as Attorney General, I'd be very concerned that we tap into whatever weaknesses there are. If the weaknesses at the airport, then we need to identify where the weaknesses are, do the analysis and address it. If it's at the seaport, do the analysis and address it. It has to be a team effort.
Meantime, the island's acting police commissioner Tyrone Griffith is standing by his comments that illegal weapons on the nation's streets are being brought in through Barbados's ports of entry. The acting police commissioner is of the view that it is important to know how the weapons are coming in if Barbados is to deal with the problem. He revealed that source countries for the weapons included the USA, Venezuela, and Colombia.
it is clear through evidence, intelligence, that the firearms are coming through the ports of entry. That is not an issue. That is a fact. And so I'm a little bit at loss as to why that could cause such a furor.
Mr. Griffith says at the core of the gunplay being witnessed is illegal drugs. He also says that more young people are being caught up in illegal activity.
There is active recruitment by some seasoned players, the leaders of these groups. They do recruit persons for that kind of activity. You talk about females, but I think they tend to think that it's easier for a female to get away with a firearm, taking it in their bags or on their person, less likely to be searched and caught with a firearm.
Barbados has signed a new double taxation agreement with Italy, and the move is expected to see the removal of Barbados from a taxation blacklist by that country. This is according to International Business Minister Donville Innes, who says it comes on the heels of Barbados's removal from a taxation blacklist by Spain. He made the remark shortly after signing the new agreement with Italy's Ambassador Paolo Serpi at the minister's Baobab Tower headquarters.
In light of the above and our country's continued efforts to strengthen bilateral relations, I remain optimistic that after reviewing its rationale and policy, Barbados will be shortly removed from Italy's blacklist so that we can fully celebrate the signing of this agreement and move forward together without any encumbrances. I think you would agree that our persistence, which has led to this important moment, demonstrates a shared commitment between us to create the environment through a double taxation agreement that would encourage greater economic and commercial relations.
Meantime, Ambassador Serpi acknowledged that placing Barbados on the list was a mistake, and he says that the signing of this treaty, therefore, is significant.
This comes at the right moment because, as you remember, before the CARICOM summit, beginning of July, there was this unfortunate accident of the blacklist that exposed Italy and a few European EU countries to a bad moment. It was a bad moment also for those countries of CARICOM which were on that list. It was an unfortunate mistake, and we have asked the Commission not to repeat that.
One of the major faces in one of Barbados's most popular and internationally acclaimed bands, the Merrymen, is dead. Robin Hunt, one of the founding members of the band, passed away early this morning. Mr. Hunt, who was 80, played the tenor guitar and banjo in the band since 1962. He wrote the popular and catchy song, God Bless Bim. His friend and lead singer of the band, Emil Stricker, says they shared 50 years of friendship and he will be dearly missed.
We lived like brothers for years whenever we traveled and moved around, and we had a lot in common. And I think Chris, Robin, Stephen, and then later on Willie Carr and Peter Wood. We had a brotherhood going, as they would say. So we're gonna miss him. We had a lot of fun and a lot of jokes. But our fondest memories it's more or less the places that we played in the world that we never imagined it could happen, like Carnegie Hall, Madison Square Garden, Royal Albert Hall. And so these are fond memories. We had jokes on ourselves that we had, so there are many fond memories, too many to remember after 50 years.
The entertainment fraternity is also mourning the loss of another stalwart, Vera Brown. Mr. Brown is a former chief executive officer of the National Cultural Foundation and a long-standing tent manager of the Conquerors and then All-Stars Calypso Tents. In a tribute to Mr. Brown, the NCF in a statement said that during his time at the foundation, he tried to unify all the major stakeholder communities. Mr. Brown was instrumental in reintroducing the float parade in 2008, and he galvanized support from many of the communities on the production of a whistle-stop bus tour across the island. As a retired public service administrator, he shared his vast wealth of experience in the enhancement of the operational procedures within the NCF. The foundation says that Mr. Brown has made an indelible contribution to the Crop Over Festival and the Calypso Tent fraternity, and his passing will certainly leave a void in the cultural community. We'll have more news in just a moment, but first we want to get your take on this question. Should there be a vetting process for all security officers at Barbados' ports of entry? You can text yes or no to short code 8111 and we'll have the results for you at the end of our news.
Sale at Shoemax. The place to go for ladies' footwear is Shoemax at Dowell's House, Palmetto Street. For work, casual, school, and wide-width shoes for maximum value on lady shoes and selected items for only $29.95. Go to Shoemax, Dowell's House, Palmetto Street. Community Files.
The Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Foreign Trade has advised that the Government of Canada has issued a revision to its entry requirements for Barbadians and other visa-exempt travelers seeking to enter Canada by air. It is now mandatory for Barbadians traveling to Canada to obtain an electronic travel authorization. The ETA may be obtained online at a cost of Canadian $7, and the security clearance will be valid for a period of 5 years. To apply, please visit http://canadagazette.gc.ca.
Hi, I'm Red Plastic Bag. Anyone who knows me knows I don't like cold. Sunshine reigns in my country. I love it.
Sharing everything is our style. No camera can capture our magic. But when a cold hits, my head is somewhere else. I need that cold out and life back in.
When a cold keeps you away, reach for Panadol Multi-Symptoms. Clinically proven ingredients for a total response to help clear your physical symptoms.
So I can be fully there for them.
Panadol Multi-Symptoms. When the cold is gone, life takes its place.
A local government official wants the region's fishermen to be allowed to operate freely in Caribbean waters. Permanent Secretary in the Fisheries Ministry, Esworth Reed, believes for the industry to maximize its potential, regional stakeholders must unite. Fish is currently the highest traded good in the world, with 75 to 80,000 tons traded annually. Despite this, the industry in many Caribbean countries continues to experience hardship. This was revealed today as the regional validation workshop by the fisheries component of the EU-funded sanitary and phytosanitary measures project got underway. Permanent Secretary in the Fisheries Ministry, Esworth Reed, thinks the industry has untapped potential.
Despite the abundance of seawater that surrounds us and the high population of fish that may be in our waters, I have not yet seen or heard of a can of tuna or any other fish labeled produced in Barbados, produced in Trinidad, or produced in any other country of the region.
Furthermore, Mr. Reed wants to see the Caribbean waters open to all regional fishermen. He believes the region's fishermen should never be disadvantaged because of fish migrating within the CARICOM space.
As a region, we should allow legitimate fishermen to operate their legitimately registered vessels without hindrance anywhere in the Caribbean.
He, however, would not want the fishing to go unregulated.
But subject to set rules and a set fee or levy paid either to the member state in which waters the vessel is operating or to a central regional body agency established by CARICOM.
In addition to opening the Caribbean Sea, Mr. Reid wants to see a more coordinated regional effort to fishing. He says business people should come together to acquire a vessel with technology that facilitates fish harvesting in Caribbean waters. Amidst the ideas presented, Chief Fisheries Officer Stephen Willoughby was critical of what he says is the failure by regional authorities to implement many of the strategies agreed upon. He says while many of the ideas are good, funds are often not properly allocated, resulting in a stagnant industry. Well, it comes as no surprise that former Member of Parliament Reverend Joseph Atherley has been nominated unopposed to contest the St. Michael West seat in the next general election for the opposition Barbados Labour Party. Reverend Atherley held the seat from 1999 until 2008 before he lost to the Democratic Labour Party's Michael Carrington, who is the Speaker of the House of Assembly. The St. Michael West candidate says his nomination shows the confidence and trust people still have in him. Reverend Atherley says though he's not the current MP, that has not stopped him from representing the people of St. Michael West.
I certainly have been here on the ground serving their interests, serving them out of my own pocket, because of course when you're not an elected MP, government doesn't help you with that. What will it take to win? I think you just got simply to commend yourself to people. I would like to think that what I've been doing prior to this period when I've been out of office and also during this period is sufficient to commend me to the people of St. Michael West.
Well, 2015 can be described as one of Peter Ram's best years in the Crop Over Festival. And the veteran entertainer yesterday celebrated his Triple Crown success with a motorcade from Bridgetown to his Ellerton hometown. Scores of fans attended the event from the start, while others joined along the route singing some of the lyrics of his smash hit, All Away. The entertainer explained that the motorcade was a thank you event for his supporters, sponsors, and neighbors.
It's a beautiful day, you don't know, we can come and for job yourself, get on the pasta and get home bad, you know what I mean? So not only the motorcade is the last jump up, last gathering, last of everything, you don't know. So this is a thank you to everybody, because from here, you put on a plane and the vision can get cloudy. So big up everybody.
And still to come, a look at some of the stories making headlines across our region. But first, a reminder that we want to hear from you on this question. Should there be a vetting process for all security officers at Barbados' ports of entry? Text yes or no to short code 8111. The result at the end of the